my mic on. Mic is on now. Awesome sauce. I can do the stuff I need to do over here. I changed the layout of how my stream stuff is set up just because, like, it's easier for me to look this way than that way. Or it's easier for me to look this way than that way when I don't know why. I think it might just be, like, the tension in my neck. And I don't want to look dead on because I realize if I look dead on, it looks like I'm just looking at the audience and not watching the video, which is not what's happening. But that's more of just an aesthetic choice I'm making right now because I think it works well. The fuck is going on? What am I looking for? Oh my god! Apparently I'm really fucking out of it today. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay. No, essentially, so I saw a video from Asmongold like a few days ago. It's this video where he was talking about, he was reacting to stuff that happened at a community council meeting or city council meeting about transgender rights and becoming a sanctuary city. And like I watched part of it and I was like, I really don't agree with any of the takes he's making, and I kind of don't want to listen to him anymore. And then I watched another video that came out a few days later where he's complaining about people's reaction to that video. And normally I'm kind of hit or miss on whether or not I like the stuff that Asmongold says, but yeah. But just because of those two videos, I was like, okay, I'm gonna give my input on these two videos. Just because I kind of almost feel it's necessary to an extent, or not really necessary, but like, if I'm going to follow the integrity that I say that I have and believe that I have and want to make sure that I maintain, then I want to make it very clear my stance on certain things so people don't pop into my chat or into my comments like they do sometimes, assume I have different belief system than I do, and think that their sort of rhetoric is going to be acceptable to me. So here we go. This is Asmongold's reacting to a city council meeting about Worcester, Massachusetts becoming a sanctuary city for transgender and gender diverse peoples.
The city to protect me because the federal government won't. And if you think you're afraid of Trump, you should see how afraid of Trump I am.
Can you wrap up, please?
Yeah.
Jesus. Can you just wrap it up? Yeah.
I can.
That is, maybe I'm being hypocritical here because maybe I do the same thing. That is something I dislike that Asmongold sometimes does. Is he trivializes suffering because it's funny, or he trivializes poor behavior because it's funny. Now there is a time when it's like, listen, this is a low impact thing, and it's kind of, you know, just someone getting shut down. This isn't. I'm going to clarify right now. This is not a low impact thing. But there's time when he's doing a video where it's a low impact thing, and someone's just getting shut down or whatever, and it's trivializing because it's funny. But there's a time and a place, and there's an intensity of situation when it stops being funny.
If you say that you're afraid of Trump and that's why you don't want the city to be a safe space for trans people, you better prepare for trans people to make this a very unsafe space.
I'm shaking. I'm not really sure if that's a good argument, that if you don't give us what we want, we're going to incite terrorism. I feel like that's a really bad argument, and I don't think that a lot of people support that. And whenever I say a lot of people, I feel like anybody who thinks like that Can we have like an equivalent exchange? Like, let's take an illegal alien that's lived here for 15 years, and he gets your citizenship, and you have to leave.
That is, for someone who like has a lot of very like right-wing pro-America belief systems. I'm not necessarily disagreeing with some of the pro-America whatever, and it's America sucks right now, but it doesn't always have to suck, so we could do something to change it, whatever. Very pro-America, very pro-gun ownership, which I also have firearms and stuff, and I am pro-Second Amendment. For someone that has that mentality, to be like, and I'll agree, saying that at a city council statement or city council meeting, not necessarily a smart move. That it's because now you're representing it in a way that's like, if you don't do this, we will get violent. Not necessarily a smart move, but the foundation of America was revolution. The point of the Second Amendment is so that we can have a well-armed militia to overthrow what we believe is a tyrannical government if the time comes. That is the point of it. It's not home defense, and home defense is important, but the biggest point of it is because the Minutemen, the people that helped fight against Britain and helped make America a country, the United States of America, a country independent of Britain, were everyday citizens that had weapons and chose to rise up against tyranny. That is the point. So if these people believe that they are being impacted by tyranny because the government is enacting laws that are stripping their rights away, if that's what they believe, then that is the point of the Second Amendment. Do I think that's the best thing to say to a city council meeting? No. But his result of, well, if you don't like it, fucking leave, is, in my mind, a brain dead take. Now, apparently he's also pro granting immigrant citizenship, which is not something I would expect from him. So it's kind of this weird thing of he's having this very right-wing thought and very left-wing thought at the same time. It's confusing to me. But yeah, no, I think having the take of, saying you're going to take action, that's the point of the Second Amendment. Rise up against tyranny if you have to. And that's not, I'm not trying to say we should enact violence. I'm not trying to say violence is the immediate next step, but I'm saying for someone that is very pro gun ownership and like very pro Second Amendment, that is the point of the fucking Second Amendment. If you believe your government is being tyrannical, you have the power to stop it. I might put back on that. I also do love, I don't think he's going to get back on this because I watched like the first 6 minutes of this. I saw a post a few days ago that was a bunch of people. Whoops, Daisy. A bunch of people outside I think it was a drag queen book reading, armed and defending them because they were basically saying we're going to use the Second Amendment in case anyone decides to come in and try to impose their will and violence upon us. We're going to use the Second Amendment in order to defend people, and that's exactly what it's for. So I when I saw that, I was like, "Fuck yeah, they're getting it." That's the point of the Second Amendment. Use it if you can. Don't enact violence against people for no reason. Don't enact violence against people when there are other avenues. But if you believe your rights are being taken away from you, and that is your only option, that is the point of the Second Amendment. So if you believe in the Second Amendment, you have to believe in that.
Like, if that's the way that you...
That said, I'm not pro-riot, I'm not pro-violence. Try to exhaust every possible avenue possible. Take it from the lowest possible level up and try to exhaust every avenue politically that you can.
Think, yeah, bro, we can keep him. He's fine. You're getting kicked out.
Right now. I don't want to be here.
I don't want to be here?
I'm sorry, am I taking too long pleading for my life?
You remembered how many children I have and that 2 of them are trans.
Jersey.
Fucking love it.
Expensive, and it's a problem. Josh Gottheimer's a problem solver, and he's running for governor to cut property taxes, tax credits for renters, and lower taxes for seniors.
I'm gonna cut your taxes and solve this problem.
This is a result of me using my my basically no email attached to an account whenever I do React stuff. It's the ads. Oh, there's the skip ad button. I wasn't paying attention.
I speak as both the B and the T in the LGBT.
I'm multiply disabled. I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is a connective tissue disorder that causes me immense physical pain. I'm on the autism spectrum.
Okay.
And I have narcolepsy, and I couldn't drive myself here, so I had to hide from my driver that I was in drag, which is not an easy thing to do in drag.
I do not want.
What? What? What is this? What game is this? It's Concord.
To be here. It's my day.
I would start. I also say right now, like I'm probably because I've watched enough of this video to know that there's long pauses. There's times when he reacts and he basically says something like that. So I might unlike some of the other videos I've done, I might cut more out of this one just because long pauses and no reaction happening. I see where he's confused. I see where he is not understanding. Because in my mind, what he's reacting to right there is him saying, why are they here dressed like this? Why are they a bunch of people showing up in drag? Why are they doing this? And there's kind of two arguments to that. You can go the route of is this the best representation to go forward? But here's my thought. Here's my thought of why these people, these transgender people, drag queens, whoever else, chose to show up in drag, because they are representing that community. The ones that showed up in drag are representing the drag community, so they're going to show their face in drag. They're going to show what they look like in drag because that's what they're representing. That makes sense to me. There's also the argument to be made of, if you're going to a city council meeting, is that the best way to go forward? Maybe, maybe not. It depends on the statement you're trying to make and the effect that you're trying to achieve. Are you trying to achieve the effect of you want the news to see this and you want the news to react to this and you want to get the people mobilized? Or are you trying to make the effect of you want to change these old dudes' minds? Because the city council is probably a whole bunch of old people with very conservative beliefs that when they see you in drag, they're going to immediately devalidate your opinion. So if your goal is to change their mind and get them to listen to you more, that might not be the best idea. But if your goal is to mobilize the people and show the people, maybe it is. I'm not a fucking lobbyist or a politician. I don't know the best answer.
Off. I do not want to be in your DMs. I do not want to be in your email inboxes. I do not want my creativity writing diss tracks like Kendrick. I don't want to spend an hour applying glitter on my face so that you will hear and see me.
I'm not really sure what he's like getting a kick out of here. That just seems like a dude reacting or watching.
That's me
quietly.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of people. You've got a lot of snowflakes melting here. It's pretty. Like, I don't see how anybody can listen to these people talk and not come to the conclusion that these people have a profound mental illness and there's something seriously wrong with them. Just like the way they talk, the way they act, their body language. everything about it. It's just completely fucking unhinged.
I also think that's very much trivializing and dismissing the thought and the shit that these people have been through based off of his own life experiences and his own, I don't want to say privilege, but the fact that he might not have had his own feelings trivialized. What is going on right now is a lot of trans people and a lot of people in the LGBTQ community are scared that their lives, that their rights are being taken away and that their lives are at risk. They are scared. So getting a little loud and saying, it's not fair that I have to do this. It's not fair that I have to come here and fight for my rights when other people don't, which is kind of what I'm seeing this as. I don't think that's unhinged. I don't think that's mental illness there. And if he's just, hold on.
I want you to listen to me.
Let us remember that the Nazis burned the books that the Nazis burned books on gender sciences.
They did do that.
First. Now the administration has villainized and marginalized migrant workers, trans.
It's a bit of a like, my understanding is that they burned them not because it was gender stuff, but because it was written in Jewish and not German. And it was like a retaking of Germany for Germans. That was like the uprising of the Nazis. So it was like, yeah, they were. I think it probably might be both in some circumstances, but like it was categorical for it not being written in German. They also burned porn. Yeah, they burned a lot of stuff. It was both, yeah. And no, a lot. And I wish people like this. It's disappointing that you can't have genuine conversations because people try to just like kind of like handpick facts and like not talk about things in an honest way. But it's like part of that's true, but it's like not completely true.
I think he's kind of doing the same thing in a different way here. Now, I do think that one, a lot of it probably did also have to do, or not a lot of it, maybe a portion of it. I don't want to ascribe a percentage to it, but a strong portion of it probably did have something to do with the fact that it was on gender studies and it was on, homosexuality and it was on those sorts of topics that the Nazis were not fans of. And then there was also a part of it that was probably, hey, this is stuff that's not written in German. That was probably also a part of it. I know from like watching part of the other video that he got a lot of hate for his take on this, because he said, oh, it was because of German this, and people were trying to shut him down and saying, well, he's disregarding this. And to an extent, I think he kind of is, but I think the message might have been able to be delivered differently by this gentleman here. Because whether it was because it was on gender studies, and I think this is where it comes, where a lot of people now are using the term Nazi and fascist for anyone that they disagree with. So it has devalued what that means, to an extent, what it means when you get called a Nazi, you get called a fascist. It has a different meaning now because now it's almost become, I disagree with you, I don't like what you're saying, that's what it means. But either way, whether it was because those books were written by Jewish authors or because those books were about, gender studies and homosexuality, the point is that the Nazis burned books about people that were written by or about people that they disagreed with, that they wanted to silence their voice, that they wanted to marginalize, that they wanted to get rid of, to exterminate. So if they're seeing a similarity in this, where now people that are being silenced are being told by this councilman, can you wrap this up? Can you shut up? Now, I don't know how long these people were talking for. They might have been talking for excessively long, who knows? because I don't know, like some city council meetings have like you have 5 minutes to say your thing, and they're going for too long. But also his tone is very dismissive. But if these people are seeing a similarity of they are being silenced because it is a group that a different group is trying to marginalize, trying to get rid of, trying to silence, then yeah, they have a reason to be mad. And it is similar. Maybe it could be delivered in a different way, because maybe if he had chosen to deliver it in, instead of saying on gender studies, and said the Nazis silenced people that they disagreed with. The Nazis took away the rights of people that they disagreed with, that they didn't like their lifestyle, that they didn't like this, that might have been better, because now you don't have this argument that can be used against them of, oh, well, that's not why, and ultimately that's not why doesn't super matter.
LGBT people and even special needs, denying life-saving and affirming care.
Can you look at me and tell me how many of my friends need to die before you do anything?
Please wrap up.
Look at me!
Okay, we're all done here.
Well done.
Fucking pathetic!
No, we're all done. Come on.
Of course, we need to.
Guys, these are the people that are on social media who are telling you how to act. Yep.
Again, this is not a situation, as far as I know, from everything I'm aware of, this is not a situation of them going to the city council and being mad that someone said a word they didn't like. This is a situation of them going to the city council and saying, I am not safe. The state of the world right now is making me unsafe and making people that fall into the same group that I do unsafe. Anger is justified. Yelling is justified in that situation. Are there better ways to deliver the message? Possibly, but sometimes you also need to show that you are angry, that you are not going to be rolled over. And do that. Now, you need to kind of have a mix. You need to have a mix of the eloquent speakers, the people that are going to calmly, march, peacefully protest, and say that we are fighting for change. And you need to have the people that saying we're pissed, we're mad as hell, and we're not going to take it anymore. But I don't. He's acting like this is tone policing, but this isn't tone policing. This is someone fighting for their life. So he's attributing them to a group, or at least in their mind, fighting for their life. I don't know the exact situation everyone's in, because I am lucky to be a straight man in America, a cis man in America, and a white man in America, which means a lot of these prejudices aren't something that I feel personally. They are not personally affecting me, so I can't fully understand what's going through their head. All I can do is try to empathize. But from the sounds of it, they are worried for their safety and they're worried for their life. So saying, fucking look at me, how many of my friends have to die before you take this seriously? That's a valid statement. That's a 100% valid statement.
There are NPCs in Oblivion that are like hostile bandits that are less hostile than that. Even them, you can open up dialogue options. Yeah.
What dialogue option are they? They're being told to shut up. They're being told to sit down and shut up. So yeah, they're mad. They're mad. They're getting pushed beyond the point of dialogue because their rights are being taken away. What dialogue are they supposed to have? Especially when you're having someone saying, can you wrap this up? Because he doesn't want to talk to them. He's clearly demonstrating that he doesn't want to talk to them. Now, maybe if you watch more of the video, I don't know, like I didn't watch the full video that he's reacting to right now. Maybe they just started out hostile. They started out not saying anything. Maybe this is meant to be a dialogue and they're turning it not into, or maybe it's not meant to be dialogue. It's people airing their grievances. I don't know. But they are justifiably mad.
No, that's a good point. I wonder which Reddit sub wasn't being moderated for the hour that this was going on for.
Continue celebrating.
And now he's just like resorting to ad hominem attack for this. He is conflating two groups, and maybe they are a lot of Reddit subs. They are whatever. He's doing the thing where you say, these people are part of a group that I don't like. Reddit mods, Discord mods, those people. And saying now, all the concerns that they have about the world are invalid because they're part of this group. So he's not listening to what they want to say. He's not listening to why they're angry. He's just ragging on them and insulting them and breaking them down and saying their opinions are invalid because they might also be part of a different group.
Celebrating Black History Month because in spite of what's coming down from Washington, we all know that we all exist and we all need to be recognized for our existence.
But be aware that you are a guest in my house when you...
The grapes?
Come. And when you come, know that there are strong...
Okay, hold on. Let me turn chat back on real quick. They're on a time limit. It's not a dialogue. They go to list their grievances. It's like a city council thing. Yeah, that's kind of what I figured it was. I couldn't fully speak to it because I wasn't there and I didn't see the full video. I just saw this video. I kind of figured it was like this is a city council thing. A lot of times city council things, it's like you go here, you have 5 minutes, list your grievances. And now they are coming out in mass because they're trying to show this is affecting a lot of people and a lot of us are upset and they are angry. Query whether or not the best option right now is for them to be angry or for them to be eloquent and I don't want to say quiet, but calmer and, you know, hey, this is a lot of us. We've all come here in support of this thing. But sometimes you have to show that, again, you're mad as hell and you're not going to take it anymore. So I don't blame them for being angry. If right now, if the people that are like really upset about this, if all the people that live a more traditional lifestyle, a more traditionally heteronormative lifestyle, like me, all of a sudden we're told that our rights are being taken away, we don't get to be who we believe we are, we don't get to marry who we want to believe. Like, if all these things were at risk, we would be furious. And you'd have a lot of angry fucking people. And historically, that has happened in the past. The America's like partly started with the fucking the Boston Tea Party and because of taxation without representation. We were told that we weren't being able to, you know, have the representation we believed we deserved, and we fought a whole fucking war over it.
Queer and trans people in my classroom who will collect you with the quickness.
That is... I do think there is a point right now where at this city council meeting, they are leaning on violence too much. Which, again, America, that's how America was founded. Bunch of pissed off people, mad as hell, couldn't take it anymore. Too many of them are going into a threatening way, which could have the opposite effect. The problem with that is it could have the opposite effect of now the city council might get harsher because now people are, they might try to consider them a terrorist group. They might try to consider them this, they might try to do that. It could have the opposite effect. So I get why they're going there. Maybe they should have dialed it back a little bit.
Collect you with the quickness? The fuck does that mean?
It means they're gonna fight you.
What does that even mean?
It means they're gonna fight you. You're playing dumber than you are, Asmund. You're playing dumber than you are to devalue their statements.
They speak in tongues? No, because if they were, it would have made more sense.
My name in drag is Dee Dee Delight. And my name out of drag is Dewey Cosgrove Atienza.
Laddie LaRouge, he, they, in drag, District 3.
My legal name is Olivia D'Ambrosio. My public name is Livy Scanlon. My wife and I own a home in the Canal District.
Yeah, and whether or not those laws have passed, because it was an executive order by Trump, executive orders still have to, you know, there are checks and balances for that. I don't know at any point they said, because this is about whether or not Worcester, Massachusetts is becoming a sanctuary city. So whether or not, from my understanding, whether or not Worcester, Massachusetts is publicly declaring, we will defend these people if the federal government decides to take action against them, kind of thing. Yeah. So whether or not the law has passed, I think what they're going for now is more. We are scared that that laws are going to get passed, that action is going to be taken against us. We need you to protect us, kind of thing.
Okay.
I speak as someone who is always misgendered, like all the time. People refer to me as sir when I prefer to be referred to as ma'am. I speak as someone who is afraid to use public toilets. I speak as someone...
This is what I was saying before. It's that being afraid to use public toilets, like, because I feel like you're talking about, if you're talking about it from like the context of being trans, like it makes sense. But I think that with a lot of these people, this is something that I used to really, really, really like about Facebook, is that in Facebook, you could actually look at a person's life and you could 9 times out of 10 figure out exactly why they're saying what they're saying.
I feel like they're saying what they're saying because they are someone who is afraid to use public toilets, because they're afraid that they will be the victim of violence because they're trans. I don't know. I do feel like right here he's just trying to make an attack against the argument by attacking the person. I mean, yeah, it's... Well, I mean, we do make laws because of the fear of car accidents. Speed limits, and, you know, the misdemeanors that are associated with that, and the fines that are associated with that, and stuff like that. So we do make laws about that, but I don't think this is... Again, I don't think this is... Because this is about... It said at the beginning of the video that this is about... This was a city council meeting to determine whether or not Worcester, Massachusetts was going to be a sanctuary city for trans people. So it's not about passing a law, it's about going to the city council and saying, we want to know that you are going to defend us if laws are passed. If laws are passed that put us at risk, we want you to publicly declare that you will protect us. So I don't think it's, again, about passing a law. It's just about getting Worcester, Massachusetts to take a stand and say, we will defend these people.
Who is a member of this community and is a queer person.
You have to imagine being me and my wife, fearing that our
What do you do with people like this? I think that the best thing for you to do is to... So I think in a lot of cases, compliance isn't compassion. And sometimes you have to hold people accountable to a higher standard of behavior and decorum. And I think that when you do that and you create a culture that expects people to adhere to a higher degree of behavior, what you do is you create an expectation that is pervasive, and a lot of people that are like this stop acting like this because it's not socially acceptable. And
it would be one thing to have that reaction of behavior and decorum and saying this behavior is not socially acceptable if they were going and they were harassing people on the street, random people on the street, and screaming at them. They are at a city council meeting to air their grievances. Saying I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore fits. Now, again, query whether or not the better action is to send in your most eloquent speakers to take the podium that can you speak very beautifully about it, or to get angry and say, I'm not going to take it anymore, because are you going to elicit retribution from the city council? Again, that's very situational. That's very, very, very specific. But so much change and so much positive change in the world and in the United States and in civil rights has happened because people were willing to toe the line of decorum. And you had people that were, following decorum. You had, you had parades, you had marches, you had, people getting sprayed with during Martin Luther King's march. I can't remember the name of it. I feel really bad right now. I can't remember the name of it. But during Martin Luther King's march, he basically said they're going to spray us with water hoses. They're going to turn the dogs on us. They're going to do all this stuff, and we're just going to keep marching peacefully. You needed that. But you also had people that were saying we're mad as hell and we're not going to take this anymore. So you had both. And this right now, I don't think any of them has really gone to a point where I'm saying you are overreacting. No, I 100% believe the laws would not pass muster if it was about directly targeting them and taking punitive action against them for their gender identity or for their sexuality. I 100% believe that those laws would be illegal and those wouldn't pass constitutional muster. But it's also the law. There's a fear right now. There is a fear, and I think they're justified to have this fear. And I have a lot of friends that are along the spectrum of the LGBTQIA plus community that are scared right now, that are really, really scared right now because they don't know what's going to happen next. Because I remember when I saw a lot of the stuff happen, leading up to the election and after the election, before Trump took office, I was like, I was consoling the friends of mine and girlfriends, I don't think this is going to happen. Or I don't think it's going to be as bad as people are worried it's going to be, because I can't remember a time when we've ever backslid on rights, on civil rights. I cannot remember a time when that's happened. And now it feels like we're in a time where, there are backslides happening on rights, or there's attempts to cause these backslides on rights from people in very high positions of power. So I understand that fear. I don't understand it in a way that it's I've ever been through this, but I can empathize and be or sympathize is the right word, I guess. Sympathize is you can't understand, but you feel bad for them. Empathize is you can relate to it. Yeah, sympathize, because I can't imagine how scary that must be. And I mean, not to out you in any way, but are you a member of a marginalized group? Because I know a lot of people that straight white males that are I don't get it, because it's never something we've had to go through. It's never something we've had to deal with in any major systemic way. So it is really hard to understand that. But then again, I don't blame people for not being able to empathize with that, because again, I cannot empathize with that. I can sympathize with that because I have never been through that. Okay, so you at least have that. You are part of a systemically marginalized group, so you can kind of do that. You can empathize to an extent, at least with the concept of being a part of a marginalized group. Maybe not this marginalized group. I'm not sure. I don't know you. But it's to me, it follows the same line of, I know people that don't understand the concept of white privilege. And I know people that get angry when they hear the word white privilege, because they grew up poor and they grew up without a lot. So they hear white privilege and they think, well, I don't have any privilege. I've never had any privilege. I grew up poor. I had to work my entire life. We didn't have food in our refrigerator very often. We skip meals all the time. I know a lot of people that have that and get offended by the concept of white privilege. And I try to, when I think I can actually explain it to them, it's not about that. That is not white privilege. White privilege is the fact that I've never had, because of the color of my skin, I've never had systemic issues against me. I've never had the system working against me. I've never walked into a store and had people worried I'm going to steal things. I've never had to worry about getting pulled over because what if the cops are racist? Those are things that I've never had to deal with. So I cannot empathize with those. So I do my best to sympathize with them and understand that I cannot understand, if that makes sense.
And I think that what happens with people like this is that people have enabled it for a long time.
But I also get like why people might not quite get that. And what level of fear is rational right now? I'm almost 40. I've experienced actual racism and homophobia just from people thinking I might be gay. Bro, none of what was going on back then is happening today, not even close. Yeah, I mean, I'm 30, so I'm not there. I'm not at your age, so I can't speak to that. But I understand why people might be worried that it's going that direction, especially because of social media and the news cycle and the way that the most inflammatory comments rise to the start. So I can understand people being afraid. And I try to understand people being afraid. Because the social media and the news gives you the worst parts of everything that's going on, because that's the thing that's going to get the most views.
Some of these people are not really that bad, right? Like this woman doesn't seem like she's that bad. But some of the other people, like especially the one screaming, like, oh my God, right? And so the problem is that when you allow these people to do what they want to do, oftentimes they end up making their own lives worse. And whenever you just agree with them and tell them that everything that they believe is true because you just don't want to deal with it, what you end up doing is you end up enabling a degree of mental illness that's self-destructive. And I think that's what happens with a lot of these people, is that people give them what they consider to be compassion, but their idea of compassion is just simply what makes them feel good to do. So telling somebody you're right about everything that you think about yourself, that might feel very good to do because you're validating this person, but it might not always be the right thing to do for somebody in the long run. And so because we have a culture that's built so much off of...
I wonder what he is saying the mental illness is. Is it the fear and the anger and the sense of like being afraid, a sense of fear that is coming from this? Is that what he's saying it is? Or is he saying trans is a mental illness? And I don't want to comment on what he is saying until there's clarification, because I think this is around where I stopped the first time I watched it, maybe a little bit earlier. So I'm not sure where he's getting at there. 100% agree. I understand it. Even where it comes from doesn't make it real. I mean, the point is their reaction is based on the fact that they feel it is real. Whether or not it's real, I don't know. I can't speak to the future. I can't speak to what's going on in the world. I avoid the news a lot of times. Because it's one of those things where I feel like if it's a situation that I can't do anything about, I try to avoid it sometimes. But when it comes to stuff like this, I at least feel like, okay, you know what, I need to get my opinion out there, and at the very least say I am an ally, you know? Because every single person that can speak up and say I am an ally, and I want to support you, at least it might make these people and the people that I know in my life that are on the spectrum and are afraid feel a little less afraid. What is actually going on in the world, I don't fucking know. It's another one of the reasons why I avoid the news cycle a lot and social media news a lot, is because it is so always inflammatory. You always hear the worst possible thing, the most clickbaity title, and then you'll go into the comments of like of CNN or BBC or whoever will make a post on Facebook with a clickbaity title, and then you go into the comments and it's a bunch of people reacting to the title, and then they don't read the fucking article, so they don't know what's going on. So like it's yeah. And I don't think that helps anyone. I don't think that the fact that goes on helps anyone.
Optics, appearances, and virtue signaling. You have people like this that get radicalized by people's by their misguided belief that people are compassionate towards them. And
I want to make a different comment about this, and this is almost more something in my personal life. I do have a major problem with virtue signaling. not because I think it's bad to say what you stand for and whatnot, but because I know a lot of people in my personal life that are either out of my life now or were in my life or not, whatever, fuck, that have virtual signal real hard for all the things they stand for and what is right and is wrong, and want to let everyone know this is what I believe in, and yeah, fuck everyone who doesn't, blah, 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 and stand up for what's right. But the moment they have the chance to actually fucking do something about it, to actually stand for the thing they're saying they stand for, and take action and help someone, even at times, very specifically, I'm thinking of some specific things right now, even at times when it would have cost them nothing, would have cost them 5 minutes of their time, chose to not do it because it was inconvenient for them. If you are virtue signaling and you are saying you stand for something hardcore and you believe in this and you do not actually stand by that statement, you are a coward. And you have no value, because the things you believe in don't clearly hold enough value to you for you to actually fucking do something about it. If you that might be a video for another day. That is because now it's getting onto a more personal story about shit in my life. But that's my problem with virtue signaling, is when people virtue signal and then they don't stand by it because it's inconvenient for them.
They're not compassionate for them. All they're doing is they're telling this person the thing that makes them feel good. And I think that another great example of this happening, another permutation of this happening, is with people that are overweight. And it's toxic empathy. It is. This is what I've been... Remember when I said I'm the most empathetic streamer?
He said that. I heard him say that. I think he believes he's the most empathetic streamer, but his definition of empathy... empathy is wrong because he's... No, I got it wrong. Sympathy. I'm fucking stupid. Sympathy... I'm going to Google this before I keep using the words wrong. Sympathy versus empathy. Hold on. Sympathy is feeling sorry for someone else's understanding. Empathy is understanding and sharing that feeling. Yeah. It's now that he used it, I'm like, I remember what the right word is. I think he believes he's the most sympathetic streamer, but his definition of what sympathy is wrong. Empathetic, no, because I don't think he can relate to a lot of this. I don't know his personal life really all that much because I don't know him personally, so I can't speak to that. I think he believes he's a sympathetic streamer, but I believe his sympathy comes from a position where he believes he's more right than the other person, and therefore he knows what is best for them. And that's not really sympathy, in my opinion.
One day people realize that I was right. Is that whenever I look at this, I don't... Like, yeah, it's funny these people are acting ridiculous for sure, but underneath that, these are deeply troubled people that need help in a lot of cases. And I think that instead of trying to help them improve their lives, people enable them to further destroy their lives. And at a certain point, you're so far gone that you now can no longer reintegrate into society, and you've effectively destroyed your life.
I really want to know where he's going with that. Because I can't tell, and I don't want to say he's saying it one way or the other when I don't know which one it is. Is he going the route of, is he saying that trans people are mentally ill and they need to be, like, told they're wrong effectively? Or is he saying because of their reaction, because of their fear, and because of how scared they are, whether or not it is justified or not, that they are mentally ill? Or is he saying it's because, he believes that this is people just coming forward and saying, I want you to agree with everything I agree with? And I don't think that's what it is. Personally, that's not how I'm reading the situation, as it being people trying to enforce their will on people to make change. This reads more to me as trying to say, protect us because we are scared. And then that is a simple thing of, okay, if you want them to feel less afraid, then declare Worcester, Massachusetts a sanctuary city and say that if the federal government passes laws that are, what's the right word? Punitive, damaging to the trans LGBTQIA community that we will not enforce those laws and we will protect them. There you go. You're not giving up anything. You're not giving up any rights. You're not giving them any extra privilege. You're just saying you will not allow the federal government to take privilege away from them.
So that's really the way that I feel.
I don't think he knows what he's trying to say. I think he's repeating lines. Yeah, what I feel like, and again, I don't want to speak to it because I am not him. I am not in his head. I do not like when people put words into people's mouths and choose to interpret things in the way that most justifies the opinion that they want it to be. Because you'll have people, like in this situation, potentially you'll have people putting words in his mouth, and interpreting it in a way that makes him look the worst because they want him to look bad. And then you'll have other people putting I just unplug my headphones. I need to just plug in the damn Bluetooth thing for this again, so I stopped doing that, but I keep forgetting. But then you'll have people putting words in his mouth on the opposite side to interpret it in a way that is most offensive of him. I don't like that. I don't want to do that. So I'm waiting for him to clarify. But part of me is like wondering, is he not clarifying what he's saying because he doesn't want to make a statement that will get him too much hate?
Marriage rights will be stripped away at any moment.
Please, I only have so much time. Please, Joe's gonna cut me off.
Which matters more? Covering.
I love that reaction. Just like, listen, this guy's been telling us to sit down and shut the fuck up. Please let me talk.
Is that a cape?
He seems to be using this to speak broadly, though. He's not really addressing anything actually being said. Yeah, there's the thing. He's not super addressing anything that's actually being said. Most of his arguments, except for that one, at least that argument was an argument about the state of how people should interact with each other. Almost every other thing he said has not been about what's going on. It's been insulting these people. It's been ad hominem attacks towards these people, trying to validate what they're saying, which is not an effective argument. Or if you're resorting to attacking the person on a personal level and not addressing what they said, then what you are saying is you don't have anything to say against what they said.
Protecting the lives of queer people in our community. How many lives have to be lost before you consider fighting back against fascism and corruption?
Now is the time to say that if federal money relies on the dehumanization of trans people, that we don't want your goddamn money.
I get that.
That guy's just speaking so fucking fast so that he can make sure he doesn't get silenced.
Some of you care more about fun.
I'm glad that this person who probably lives in an upper middle class household and has never really had to worry about any sort of existential money problems in their life. I'm very glad that he's here to tell the government that other people that have the same viewpoint that he does don't want their money. Thank God that he's able to do that. Want their money. The government.
More about fun.
Dehumanization of trans
fascism and corruption.
Now is the time to say that if federal money relies on the dehumanization of trans people, that we don't want your goddamn money.
I get
Holden.
He's making that assumption based off nothing. The guy isn't wearing ratty clothes. He's also not dressed super nice. He's not wearing a suit. He's making that assumption based off of nothing. And there is a certain point. One, marginalized groups are generally the minority group. That's how the marginalization happens. So saying that because he might not be part of that group, because he might have privilege, he can't stand up for people that don't, is such a brain-dead take. Because, yes, he might have had privilege. He might have grown up upper middle class, never had to worry about anything in his life, but he's still saying what is happening to these people is not okay. And then saying, we don't want you to throw some money at us and tell us to sit down and go away if you're not going to actually solve the issue. Now there is a level of being like, listen, it's not fair for like someone to say, yeah, don't give us money. It's not going to affect me. That if you don't give us money, and then other people are suffering, but it's still him standing up for people, even if he's not a part of that group. But I don't know if he's anywhere on the LGBTQIA spectrum. But he's standing up for those people and saying, oh, if you're not part of the group, you can't stand up for the group. That's not how progress happens.
And is never really glad that he's here to point that he don't want their money. Thank God that he's able to do that.
And he's straight up putting words in his mouth. Or he's not really putting words in his mouth because he did say, we don't want your money if it's coming from this. But he doesn't know that guy's situation. He's making an assumption based on nothing.
About easy funding than trans lives, and don't mind Nazis for some whatever reason. But
let me go back. I wasn't really listening to that.
Of trans people that we don't want your goddamn money.
I get that some of you care more about easy funding than trans lives, and don't mind Nazis for some whatever reason. But
normally, I would say,
and that comment does seem to be basically like, don't give us money for this when this other thing should be a priority. You have a limited amount of fund. You have a limited amount of funding. Spend it on the thing that we care about or the thing that we need to happen, not on this other thing.
Good evening, but through the chair,
now,
I will only impart my
finance,
sour
economics, city planning is more nuanced than that. But he's about to attack the way this guy looks. Yep.
Can you imagine, like, this is, like, your job? You have to just, like, listen to these people? Because in Austin, it's the same way. I watched a couple of, like, public access TV hearings, and it's, like, 5 crackheads, a crazy mom, a Karen, some racist guy, another crackhead, and then somebody that has, like, that's dressed up like a Christmas tree that wants every day to be Christmas, and then that's the end of it. Okay, see you guys next Tuesday.
Can you imagine if your job as a leader was to listen to the people you represent? Can you imagine that? Can you?
That's it. No, really. Like, if you guys ever watched one of, like, your local news station, the city hearings...
Sympathy for the people that do have to listen to when the really legitimately crazy people come forward. But now Asmongold is equating people that are upset over a fear about stuff that's happening in the world, whether or not you believe that that is valid or not, to crazy people and to crackheads. He's making this equivalency to devalidate what they're saying. And he might not be saying these people are devalid because it's like this, but he's trying to make that connection in your mind.
The emotional and taxing thing to stand up here as someone as part of the trans and gender diverse community.
My name is Katie. I'm from District 5, and I'm speaking in support of agenda items 10B and 14B. Right now in our country, Trump is threatening the trans and gender diverse community.
Noticing people here are trying to control the rights of others, and that's not right. We should make...
I will say, in basically no situation do I agree with the use of kids for political messaging. No matter what the political messaging is, I don't believe in putting a kid forward and having them say stuff because they don't understand what they're saying. They're just parroting what you're saying. And unless the issue is very specifically involving kids, then there's no need for them to be there. Unless it's like a child going forward and they're talking about school lunches and the child's coming forward to say, I'm hungry every day because my parents are very, very poor and there's no school-funded lunches and blah, 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 and please help. Unless it's something like that, then more than likely they are just parroting what you've told them to say. And he's quite literally reading from a sheet that I really doubt he typed up. To the point where, like, I can't remember what election it was. It was like a decade ago, and it wasn't a a presidential election, but I had someone post a video of on Facebook of their 5-year-old breaking down and crying like it was the end of the world because whatever candidate they wanted elected, the parents wanted elected, didn't get elected. And clearly, these parents had put into this child's mind that that would be the end of the world. That if that candidate didn't get elected, it would be the end of the world. Let your kids be fucking kids. Don't put that shit into their head.
I think it's like you really gonna bring the kid in, and then like the parents like having the kid read this stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, like you're really in like. That's child abuse. It's like, it's one thing. Like, I know obviously like families are going to have ideologies that they teach their kids.
That is going to happen.
But it's like one thing to have your kid learn about this ideology, and it's another thing to like use them as your as your bullhorn, so you can have like some sort of like, I guess you could say like emotional upper hand, right?
That's 100%
it's
what
so
it is.
Weird. This as your mouthpiece. Yeah, exactly.
This is like the one part of this that I agree with Asmon on, because they're using him as a prop, and that's not fair to a kid.
City. For trans people, everybody deserves to feel safe, and everybody needs to feel.
Well, if the kid wanted to, I think that
the kid is a kid.
In a lot of cases, when kids want to do something,
because their parents
a parent
want them to.
Sometimes needs to look at what the outcome of that thing is, and then decide whether that's good for the kid in the long run. Because there's a reason why kids can't make decisions for themselves. And so what I think in a lot of cases is it's parents that groom their kids. And this isn't in like a sexual way, right? Necessarily. It's just parents that groom their kids to be extremists in this way. And then, of course, the kids act this way because that's what they've been brought up to do. I mean, it's the same as like, I mean, a lot of the kids in like, I don't know. I mean, you could use it Joseph Kony's child army, right? I mean, like a lot of them were effectively groomed to be in a fucking, African army of God.
He's taking this in a very extreme way that I feel like is probably unfair, because what he's also going to do is he's going to see younger people that have beliefs similar to him, and I'm not going to like. Have I seen him do this yet? Not yet. I haven't watched all of his stuff. I just watched some of his stuff. Because if it was a younger person, a teenager or whatever, that's agreeing with him, or a 18-year-old that just turned 18 that agrees with him, it's not going to be about child abuse. It's not going to be about, enforcing your will on your child. It's going to be about, that kid was raised right. I don't like every child is going to take on some of the beliefs of their parents, or they're going to go completely contradictory to their parents, depending on how much they like their parents and how good their parents were to them. That's just going to happen. And now he's going down the route of, they're radicalizing the kids. It's not about that. It's, to me, that's in yes, this is a representation that they are making this child come forward and be a figurehead for them, a mouthpiece for them. And that's like not okay. But I don't know. He's going down a route that's like basically saying if you teach your kids to believe something, you're wrong. But also, I also agree that, like, listen, let your kids be kids, grow up, especially at this age. That kid's probably like, what, 9? Don't allow him to live without fear for a little while. Allow him to live without fear. Allow him to be a kid.
It's the same thing as in the Middle East. Like a lot of these like kids that are holding like fake AK-47s, like they were groomed into this. Like they spawn. This is just bad spawn RNG. So like you shouldn't look at the kid and say like there's anything really like wrong that the kid's doing. And like, yeah, the kid wants to do it. Of course the kid wants to do it because their entire life and the structure of their reward system is built around them reinforcing this behavior. So of course they're going to do it because they've been trained to do that.
Safe. I've lived here for 4 years, and there hasn't really been any changes in how people feel safe in the city. My birthday is this Saturday, and all I want is peace and for you to vote yes. Please don't let me down for my birthday. There's a lot of queer people that I love.
I don't like this father. One, that kid didn't write that statement. I'm almost 100% willing to guarantee it. But now it's going as far as he's he's using his kid as an emotional tool, as an emotional weapon. His very young child that is now being indoctrinated into a being afraid. And then going as far as to be like, it's my birthday coming up. Like it's I don't like it. I don't like that. I don't use kids for your political messaging.
And to Candy Carlson, you should know to never call someone I'm 7 and I know better. The kids are watching and we're ready to vote you
okay,
out.
7.
Oh my gosh.
I will say that is a part where there's no one at the podium. That was a lack of decorum. I'll give him that. That was a lack of decorum. There's still business to be done, but...
This is World of Warcraft.
What the fuck?
There's no classes because there's archetypes instead. An archetype is a fusion of 2 or more classes, like this Fire Lord, which is
Man. Oh my gosh. The kid did not read that? Yeah, I don't know what to say. 7 years old, exactly. Isn't this the same thing as Musk bringing his son to the Oval Cabinet? Both is not a place for a kid. I knew that there would be a low IQ person that would try to draw that correlation. So I already thought about what the difference was whenever I was saying it. Because, like...
To me, I didn't really see all that. I just saw the pictures of Elon Musk with his child in the Oval Office. To me, one, the child does not need to be there. Child does not need to be there. But there is the difference in did he use the child, and I don't know, did he use the child to take a podium and say, well, I would really like it if you did this thing for me to make an emotional plea at the rest of the cabinet or the rest of the press or whoever, or was the child just there and shouldn't have been there? Because those are two different situations.
This is just, again, it's just a very, it's like an obvious, like, I'm not going to think about this at all or put any effort into it. But I'm just going to like try to draw this correlation so I can, like double down on some perceived hypocrisy. It's totally different because his kid isn't speaking for him.
Yeah, there you go.
His kid isn't being used to
his
push any sort of agenda.
His kid shouldn't
They're
be
not
there
having the kid
for like professional
as a mouthpiece,
reasons, but the kid's not speaking. The kid's not being used as a tool.
Advance an agenda. The kid is just simply there in the office that's participating in the event. So it's the difference between putting them front and center versus just literally having him there.
Yeah.
It's emotional manipulation. Yeah, sure. And so, like, no, it's just, again, people love making comparisons like that.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I guess so. Make this a safe space or I will make it an unsafe space.
I mean, that's a hell of a message right there. So far, so it seems like the only thing me and Asmon really agree on in this video is that you shouldn't use children for political messaging.
Jesus. I just...
Okay.
I wonder what these people are going to do, man. I think they're going to paste. Yeah, but it's all forcing them into adulthood. Yeah, approaching it. It's just, holy fuck. It's sad.
It's just him going to go off on the memes now. Whoopsie daisies. Okay. So now I'm going to tackle the next one, which I saw like 2 minutes of previously. And it was partly him reacting to people's reaction to this video. So give me a second right there.
Past about 6 months or so. I have for the past about 6 months or so.
Yeah, and then this is a video that is, at least for like the 2 minutes of it that I watched, I was like on my way to the gym, and then I turned on music when I got to the gym. And I was like, you know what, maybe I should do a react video for this. This video is Asmongold reacting to some of the hate he's gotten over the last while for some of his takes on stuff. And the first thing I saw was like the video that we just watched, the one where he's talking about the Worcester, Massachusetts sanctuary city stuff.
For the past about 6 months or so, I have had to endure a relentless amount of personal attacks, lies, and misrepresentations that are intentionally disingenuous in order to align me with beliefs that I've actively spoken out against. This is another instance of people trying to paint me as a Nazi. Now,
part of me is like, okay, immediately wants to be like, okay, I can kind of sympathize because that is just a thing that happens everywhere, but particularly to content creators. I think content creators, public figures, politicians, they are going to take whatever interpretation of what you said fits them the best. If they like you and they want you to be a voice for their opinion, they're going to interpret the things that you said in a way that makes you look positive. If they dislike you and they want to shut you down, they're going to interpret the things that you said in a way that makes you look bad, because now you look bad and your opinion is no longer valid.
This is a very, very,
That said, Asmon also says a lot of shit that's like, bro, you should recognize that people are not going to like this and understand that you are going to get hate for this. And the title of this video is "I Can't Do This Anymore," which I also like. This is his job. This is what he gets paid for. He has he worked as an accountant, I think he said at one point. So he has other skills, but like this is his job. This is what he gets paid for. He has to keep doing this. And people are here for him to say these fucking unhinged takes sometimes, or these takes that are counterculture or just people aren't going to agree with. That's how he makes his money. So he's going to keep doing it. But if you don't like it, start changing the type of content you put out and keep the audience that you can, because ultimately your quality of life should matter more than your quality of content.
Opinion, an extreme accusation to make. This is a crazy accusation to make. So anyway, I'll read the first post here, and this is: Asmon asserts that Nazis burned down the Magnus Hirschfeld Institute of Sexology in 1933, not because it was a safe space for queer people, but because it was written in Jewish, not German. That's actually not what I was talking about. This person's just actually completely wrong. I was talking about the book burnings. So this is what I said in the clip.
Let us remember that the Nazis burned the books that the Nazis burned.
Yeah,
books
so that's just
on
someone
gender sciences.
not actually watching what he said.
Like, my understanding is that they burned them not because it was gender stuff, but because it was written in Jewish and not German. Which was me misspeaking. I meant Hebrew.
Yeah.
It was like a retaking of Germany for Germans. That was like the uprising of the Nazis.
Right.
A retaking of Germany for Germans. They also burned porn. Yeah, they burned a lot of stuff. And I wish people like this. It's disappointing that you can't have genuine conversations because people try to just like kind of, handpick facts and like not talk about things in an honest way. This is the kind of stuff that people...
And here's the other issue with that. Here's the other big issue with that. If you do not like this guy, if you are trying to say that he is a bad guy, do not listen to his opinions because he says stuff that is bad. Do not accuse him of something that is provably false, because he didn't. He said. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that Magnus Hirschfeld thing was tied to those burnings too. But I'm speaking more generally. Hold on. Let me Google this real quick. Yeah. Okay, so also this is a little bit of, I think, very quick research, very quick, took me 30 seconds, look into it. That institute was part of the book burnings. That institute was part of the book burnings. So yes, while he did not say that the Magnus Hirschfeld Institute of Sexology 1933 was burned down because of that, but because of this, the book burnings were a part of that. The Magnus Hirschfeld Institute of Sexology being burned down was a part of the book burnings. So those are statements, but because of the fact that he said it in a way that is not directly quotable, it can be used to invalidate this dude Oxen McNamara's argument, because now Asmon can go do this, can go do the quick research. So yeah, actually, Asmon's just not understanding the full scope of that historical moment as well, so he thinks he's wrong. but he's not. Hold on.
Talk about things in an honest way. This is the kind of stuff that people try to take out of context, where like they're saying, oh, Asmon thinks that it wasn't. It's actually because I'm trying to discuss the actual real extent of it, and the true extent of it is much worse than what's being communicated.
Also for context, and this is going to be extreme.
Okay, that's yeah, yeah. And to kind of like not be on his side, but also discuss why I do hate when stuff like that does happen. And this might not be a case of that, because he's saying, oh, his book burning's not the institute, whatever. Or maybe I might be dumb right now. I might be completely misunderstanding what is happening right now. I'll admit that. The issue I have when people kind of do take stuff out of context is, one, if you have to take something out of context to manipulate the facts to suit your needs, what you are saying is you do not have a strong argument. Your argument has to be based off of manipulation of facts and lies. Two, if it is something that is provably false, you have now devalidated yourself in your future arguments, because now you're someone that doesn't fact check, that doesn't actually portray the whole truth. This is the same thing when I was talking about the guy on the pirate software drama of the DMCA stuff, of it's harder to believe that guy. It's harder to believe the things that he says that he doesn't have proof for, because we were able to find proof that showed that he was lying about some stuff or misrepresenting the facts about some stuff. So now it's harder to believe anything he says, so it's harder to be on his side. So that is my thoughts on like when people do that misrepresentation stuff, and why I think it's really bad for your argument.
Extremely important for the rest of the video. People are mainly trying to get Asmon banned because of chat's reaction following this clip. We meticulously went back to check, and every single one of these chatters were banned, and they were banned days before this tweet was even made.
These bad actors were banned days before any of this drama happened.
Yeah.
Now, this is a person...
It's hard to moderate your chat sometimes, and I have trouble moderating my chat sometimes when it gets like particularly big, like at this point, like a year and a half ago, I had like 15, 20 people in my chat at one point. It was the highest, most amount of people I ever had in my chat at any given time. And now it's obviously very much less. It's hard to moderate your chat. You can't really blame people for what their chat is saying all the time. And he took the appropriate actions and he moderated it. He got rid of those people.
I actually didn't know who this was. So this is the same person who's trying to get me in trouble on Twitch. Let's listen to what they had to say about everybody's favorite commentator, Destiny.
Hey, the guy who said it was on site at TwitchCon if he saw Destiny.
What if I want the satisfaction?
I mean, listen.
Yes.
All I'm saying is on site, you know.
So we have on screen two radical political activists, which is probably the most kind way that I can categorize these two individuals, that are arguing between which of them is going to be able to beat up Destiny when they're...
I feel like this is also him taking it out of context, or not necessarily taking it out of context, but they're speaking colloquially. They're not speaking literally, I imagine. I hope they don't actually have plans to go to TwitchCon and assault somebody, because that would be fucking stupid. And they would be really fucking stupid, and they deserve whatever jail time they get for that. But it comes off very much as like them just being like, they're joking around, they're being dumb. That said, you can't say shit like that on Twitch. So it is a little bit hypocritical to be like, I'm going to be saying shit like this on Twitch. I'm going to be doing that stuff on Twitch that I know is wrong, and then try to go after someone else because they say something you don't like. I hate a hypocrite. I cannot abide a hypocrite. Like, say what you mean what you say, do what you say you're going to do. Try to follow your moral beliefs as well as possible, but do not compromise your own moral beliefs when it's convenient for you, and still act like you're a good person. Everyone fails. Everyone slips up. But when you slip up and you fail, and you say, but it's okay that I did it, but it's not okay that someone else did it, you're a bad person.
They're at TwitchCon, and they're openly doing this on Twitch. The point that I'm making is that these are people who are advocating for violence on a regular basis, and this is something that happened, again, This was earlier this month. This is the same person who, as a response to a video about a CEO, posted a picture right here of the gun that was used to kill Shinzo Abe.
That does, yeah, no, that's not a great look. That is super not a good look, especially because this does more directly look like advocating violence, because it's kind of a diagram. It's kind of explaining how to make this thing so other people can do it. So when you start, when you're speaking colloquially and being like, oh yeah, it's on site, and it's just you shit talking someone because you don't like them, that's one thing. Providing instructions on how to instigate violence and how to do violence, you're losing that bit of you can't say anymore, oh, I was just joking, because no, the fuck you weren't. Or even if you were, you should know better if you have a huge audience like this. You know what you are saying, you know what you're doing, you know what you're advocating, and you need to you can't try to play dumb. You're smarter than that. You're not that dumb. Don't play dumb. So this is kind of, yeah.
So this is a person that not only is advocating for violence against other streamers, but they're advocating for violence against other people in general. This should not be tolerated in any capacity. If you are advocating for or promoting the use of violence against people in a non-self-defensive way, I think you should get banned. These are the people who are trying, and by the way, I wasn't even talking about burning down the Institute, I was talking about the book burning, so you didn't even listen to the clip.
But you're
talking about some...
There's the thing, is he didn't understand the history of it, and that is that his fault? No, if he didn't learn it, that's not really his fault. Should he have done the same thing I did and taken 30 seconds and Google it? Because it turns out, yeah, those two things are directly interrelated. The burning of the Magnus Hirschfeld Institute of Sexology in 1933 was part of the book burnings. But also Austin should have been like, hey, just said book burnings, not that, because now it's
something totally different. And so these are people who have been on a concerted effort to misrepresent me on a regular basis, while at the same time allowing and facilitating and promoting political violence. This is something that is guaranteed 100% against the terms of service. We'll go over, of course, obviously, Hassan also.
But here's the thing. Here's my problem so far with this. He's not shooting down any of their arguments. He's well, I mean, I guess he is there, but he's wrong. He thinks he is, but he's wrong. But what he's doing right now is not, because he just misunderstands the situation. But what he's doing right now is not saying these guys are wrong because of this and this and this. He's just saying these guys are hypocrites. But that doesn't mean that they're wrong. You can be a hypocrite and still be right. I just don't respect you. You can be a hypocrite, but the thing you are saying is right and the thing you are doing is wrong. I just don't respect a hypocrite. But he's not actually tearing down their argument in any way. He's just trying to be like, but look what they did too. Look what they did too. And it's not a valid argument, man.
Had to chirp about this as well. He was not happy about it. It's a bit of a miss. Like, my understanding is that they burned them not because it was gender stuff, but because it was written in Jewish and not German.
It's really cold in my house right now, and I have a condition. Like, I have one arthritis in my hand, and then I just have, when it gets cold, my hand starts to seize up and it hurts like
He's
a
not
bitch.
happy. He's not happy.
There is literally no reason to fucking go to school, study political science, spend years and years of trying to understand how politics.
I'm wondering where this goes, because I think it was both. I can't speak to it because I wasn't alive at the time. I was not in the minds of the people that did it. So I can only know from learning history. And one of the things I hate about learning history in school is when you learn history in school, it's flavored very much by the beliefs of your teachers. I have learned the same thing from separate professors and separate teachers with completely different takes on it, and it comes with completely different thoughts on it. So Yeah, but again, it's this goes back to the fact that Asmongold misunderstood one thing, but also like I think he's right that it's both. It was probably both, but I think the way he said it 100% comes off as him saying no, it has nothing to do with that. It's about this.
Well, it takes
but he did clarify that probably both, but the very authoritative way that he said no, it's not that, it's this. And then kind of subtly was like, oh, well, but maybe it's both. Makes it read that way.
The importance of learning history. I'm not an elitist by any means. I think anybody can do this. This is a fucking silly ass job.
But
it is just crazy that like what is declared good enough in terms of political commentary on the right wing side of things. That's crazy.
Asmongold is, I guess, a political commentator sometimes, but not really. He's a reactor. He reacts. He does reactions. And he gives his commentary, but he doesn't assert himself to be a political expert. That says he does say very often that he's right, and he very strongly asserts his opinion on things, but he's not coming at it from the perspective of an expert. He's not saying he's an expert. He just talks kind of authoritatively in a way. He talks like he is, kind of, but doesn't say he is.
Number one political commentator on the platform. Still,
Hassan is really getting upset
he a political
about
commentator?
this number one political commentator on the platform. Hassan is the number one political commentator on the platform. I cover some political issues. Hassan only covers political issues.
Yeah.
I've never said that.
A lot of times, Asmongold's reactions and stuff isn't to politics at all. It's to other content creators and games.
I've never insinuated that. Now, if he's mad that the videos that I do get more views or something, that's fine. That's okay.
It is pretty crazy that Asmongold watched that fucking Ethan Klein video, and then
he's unhappy that I watched the content nuke video. Now, I understand why he's unhappy. I think that if I was him, I would also be unhappy.
His
I don't
chat
know what
kept coming in here to
any
be
of
like,
that
you're
is.
anti-Semitic
I have no
terrorism
idea what
lover.
any of
You
that
should be
means.
banned. Why aren't you banned yet? Meanwhile,
I mean, to be fair, Hassan, you have been very positive towards people who are on the national terror list. I mean, you have been. Like, this is a fact. Like,
I'm
this
not
isn't
aware
a
of
debatable
anything that's
reality.
going on.
You interviewed a terrorist, and I defended you interviewing the terrorist.
I might cut through all of this. I might cut through the stuff that I don't know. Right now, I thought this was going to be more about him talking about the hate that he's getting, but a lot of it just seems like him attacking people that are hating on him and not shutting down their thoughts, not reacting to their thoughts and explaining why he believes they are wrong, but just kind of attacking them for disagreeing with him.
I even defended you with that. I said it's okay because I want people to be able to talk to people. But I didn't see the whole thing, and I didn't realize you glazed him that hard. You didn't have to do that.
bro, are we about to have a Houthi rebel on stream? Yes, brother. I'm a journalist. Does he know what One Piece is?
He's been watching it since he was a kid.
What the fuck is...
No way!
Why is he talking about One Piece?
I love you. I love you so much.
It's crazy.
Was that like legitimately a terrorist that he was just like being friendly with? I mean, I guess there's a level of like, hey, don't piss off the terrorists, but also you didn't have to have them on stream.
Based Nazis. But hey, no, wait. That's what a lot of my naysayers wanted, though. They wanted someone.
Now, I'm not going to bring up the point when Ethan was getting attacked in Hassan's chat, and then Hassan said he couldn't control everybody saying things.
Yeah, yes to what part? Yes to the fact that he legitimately just had a terrorist on stream, because that is fucking wild. And then was like that friendly with him. Listen, if you're gonna have him on stream, I get not wanting to piss him off, so maybe not being overly aggressive. But based off of that, and I didn't watch the video, so I don't know how bad it was, so I can't comment. But just based off of that part, he was kind of like justifying him and glazing him and fucking making him look good, and don't fucking do that either.
Things in his chat, and now he's mad at me for not having every single person that's banned in my chat. I just find this to be ironic.
He had him on and heaped him with praise Bro. Fucking what?
I do. I find it to be very
that's
ironic.
insane. Yeah,
Well,
no.
thank God I'm here then.
How can you do that? How can you have a terrorist on and talk about how awesome they are and then really hate on anyone else for their opinions?
First point, every
Unless
singular
you
chatter
are,
that
in fact, saying that you agree with that fucking terrorist.
was spamming was banned days before the tweet was made. But of course Hassan didn't go back to check and just run with the story. Second point.
No, that's also a big thing. That's a big thing that happens a lot is people the moment in two different ways. The moment people get an idea in their head about someone and that idea conforms with what they want to believe about something, once they get a little bit of evidence to justify their belief about someone, they will do absolutely nothing to prove that belief wrong because they want to believe that. And I've seen this happen a lot, and I've seen it happen in my personal life where the moment like they're like, okay, I want to believe this about this person, so I'm not going to look at anything that makes them wrong because it is more convenient to me for my life to do that, to believe that this person's a good person or this person's a bad person without looking at any evidence. And you could like spoon feed them the evidence, and they're not gonna listen to it because it doesn't conform with what they want to believe. And then you also have it on the content creator spectrum of when people do get proof, they're going to ignore that proof because that's not as good of content. Like again, with my most recent video, or not my most recent video, but the video I did about the pirate software DMCA of that one indie creator, I said, and I actually have a Twitch message. Me and him had messaged back and forth very briefly, like 2-3 messages back and forth, or like 2 messages back and forth, really. I sent him a message, he sent me a message, I sent him a message back, where I said, listen, if you want to come on stream and talk with me and we can have a discussion, I can ask you questions and you can give clarifying information, then I'll gladly have you on stream. And if you can change my mind about this, if you can show that, oh shit, the way I thought about this was wrong, then I will change my fucking mind. A lot of people don't want to do that either because it doesn't make for as good of content in maybe this case, or in more of the real world, because they don't want to change their belief and they don't want to be provided evidence that change their beliefs, especially if it causes them to have to take action, be that not associating with someone anymore, not participating in something anymore, not doing things that they want to do, because if they're doing those things, then they will be compromising their own moral beliefs. And people would rather not know so that they don't have to tell themselves that they're compromising their moral beliefs for their convenience themselves, because they will. They know they will. 9 times out of 10, they know they will, and the 1 out of 10 that won't, that will in fact do the morally right thing by their own standards, doesn't want to have to do that. So it's easier for them to not know.
Hassan had this to say after Ethan begged him to moderate his chat.
Can you, do you care
that might be a whole other video I go on one day eventually.
Calling you racist? Do you make any attempt to modify?
I have not looked at my chat.
He's made multiple calls to violence.
I have not looked at my chat at all. But...
He's made multiple calls to violence. Jesus, yeah, no, like, I can't agree with that. I can't, like,
I just opened it, but don't you have moderators? Do you care at all about what your audience says about me?
There's 32,000 people in here right now. I can't stop people from viewing you a certain way.
One can only assume what.
So he wanted to go after Asmon. I was after watching the last video, I was not expecting to go into this video and side with Asmon at all, because I thought it was going to be a sympathy party kind of thing. I don't think he's really... All Asmon is doing right now, from what it seems like with this video, is calling out the people that called him out, but not actually addressing the things that they said. But at the same time, fuck this guy, because he straight up just fucking hypocrisy. He's going after Asmon because Asmon had people say things in his chat that they shouldn't have said, and then didn't go to check to see if he took any action to stop that, which he did apparently. But now he's saying to this guy, oh, I can't stop them. I can't stop them. What he should have said right there is like, listen, we're going to try to ban them as they come in. We're going to try to stop it as they come in. But unfortunately, they have to say something for us to ban them. So I apologize if you're having to deal with this, but we'll handle it. No, he's just saying, it's not my fault. I bear no responsibility for this.
Chat
And
might
it's
have
just
been
straight
spamming
hypocrisy.
when Twitch
And like I said, I
literally
can't stand a
had
hypocrite.
to change the rules around the use of the word Zionist after it was paired with every derogatory term imaginable. This time he had most of the chat covered by Ethan's cam. Let's check other times. This is a letter from a Columbia Jewish student denouncing harassment by other campus students and receiving no support.
I wonder why we recoiled when people screamed resist by any means, telling us that we are all inbred and that we have no culture. We shudder when an
This is literally Chat's immediate reaction after he said the Jewish students were being called inbreds.
Listen,
I'm on the way out.
Listen, again, Hassan can't control what his chat does, but he can't try to hold Asmongold to a standard that he's not holding himself to and then say it's okay for him and not for me. Or it's okay for me and not for him.
Pro-Hamas mob started chasing us, calling us in the middle of campus, calling us inbred, that we have no culture. One of them grabbed my friend's Israeli flag in the middle of campus,
he's just laughing
carried
about
it to a mob
which
by
means
the
he's
gate
okay.
that
He
were
thinks it's
communicating
funny.
with the angry mob.
He thinks these things that are happening to these people is funny, so he's clearly okay with it.
Now you're probably thinking, but editor, surely Hassan banned all of these chatters, who coincidentally are all subs as well. Well, let's check, shall we?
Is that the same voice for Distractable? Is that Baltimore or whatever? Is that the same voice for Distractable? I can't tell.
Right, first sub on top. Jedhug. Uh-oh. They were never banned, and he's still chatting to this day. Let's do another one. The Red Star. Big sub gifter as well. Nope. Never banned for that either. What about Jordan? 3 years sub, and still going strong. What about Lund? Literally chatting while I'm making this video. Okay, I think I made my point clear. Back to you, Baldy.
And see, this is the difference.
I mean, the one thing I'll say is he picked a set of people, maybe, like, and this is just to give benefit of the doubt, maybe he picked the people that Hassan didn't get to, but still, it's not a good look. It's not a good look at all. Because I'm sure there's people that have like said shit in my chat sometimes that like I didn't catch them when they said it, so I didn't ban them because I didn't catch it. And if you have 32,000 people, yeah, it's going to be harder to catch everyone. But still, it's like you can't say one. You can't expect something from someone else. You can't hold someone else to a higher standard than you're holding yourself.
It's between a lot of the other extremism on Twitch and the extremism that's on my platform. The difference between extremism in my chat and extremism in other people's chat is that in my chat, people actually do get banned for it. Me saying that these books were burned not because they were about gender specifically, but just because they were non-German. Why don't we look it up and why don't we find out for ourselves?
Oh, wait, hold on.
How about we watch the video from the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum? Do we think this is maybe a good, is this maybe a good source?
In 1933, in April, Nazi German students decided to organize a nationwide book burn.
Hold on. Because I have something up right now that's like, yeah, the Nazi book burnings in Berlin included the archive, the institute. Because I think what he's doing right now is he's interpreting it differently. Okay, so he's right and he's wrong in the fact that, okay, he's getting the evidence that is saying, he's showing the evidence that's saying he was right or notionally right in why he thought these book burnings had happened. But his original, he also made it a point to call out, oh, I didn't say it was about that institute. It was about the book burnings, but that institute was part of the book burning. So he might be right on the reason why it happened, but he was also wrong there. So yeah, which just isn't a good look.
This is it. Program to eliminate foreign influence, to purify German culture as they saw it.
That's right.
So you have committees of students.
So this is exactly what I said.
Yeah. So I mean, he's right there, but his one argument's wrong.
Categories of books in these university libraries.
Let's get to the categories.
Would count as un-German. They didn't see themselves as suppressing.
Un-German. Let's go back and watch the original clip. And it was like a retaking of Germany for Germans. That was
okay. So
this is, again, my source for this is the Holocaust Museum.
So he's right there
of the United States.
He's right in the fact that that's why it happened.
German,
but again, like to what I said in during the last video, that doesn't necessarily mean what that guy, the point that guy was trying to make was wrong. It was just delivered wrong and understood wrong, and maybe understood by him wrong, but still valid, because ultimately it is at the very least valid in the sense that the Nazis did burn books from a group that they disagreed with, or from people that they disagreed with, or in preparation for further marginalizing and further degrading and eventually trying to exterminate a group of people that they did not agree with. It's just the understanding was wrong.
University City, 34 of them in all, thousands of people gathered together at a public place in which books that had been confiscated either by the students themselves, often with the help of police, were brought and dumped in a pile.
I mean,
Student leaders
made his
exhorted
point.
their followers and the
I don't know why he's continuing
to swear an oath
watch
by the
this, 'cause
fire
I don't
to
care.
destroy
He made
and
his point, like,
combat
okay, yeah, he was
subversive and un-German literature.
Subversive and un-German, which I think is fair to say that they probably thought they used both of the words, which I'm willing to bet that the Nazis considered anything that was not heteronormative subversive. So they use both words, but he's kind of cherry picking the words. But he did say that in the original video too. Of it was probably a little bit of both. So I'll give him that.
It's like a retaking of Germany for Germans. That was like the uprising of the Nazis.
But again, he's just kind of hammering in on this same thing.
Sure. For the national treason against our soldiers in World War I, we're burning Hemingway's books.
Joseph
Hemingway. Wow. That doesn't seem like it's about gender at all.
It is.
They hated a lot of people. So saying, oh, they also hated this different group doesn't mean that they... I mean, they hated a lot of people.
Amazing to me, the variety of books that was
very big
burnt,
variety
on that night.
But that doesn't mean that group wasn't also targeted, because that's the origin of the pink triangle to represent gay people. It was because the Nazis did also persecute gay people.
And thereafter,
among the authors whose books were burned.
But
Ernest Hemingway.
He's kind of doing the same thing where he's picking and choosing the argument. He's picking and choosing the argument that fits in the best. Hey, what's up, Gio? There's 2 Asmongold videos that I watched partially each one of them before this, and then was like, okay, I have opinions on this. I want to finish watching them. I want to finish them watching on stream because, yeah.
Both Mann brothers.
But after this, I'm going to get to Sea of Thieves.
There's the German writer.
I'm going to try to grind out some Sea of Thieves.
Erich Maria Remarque, who wrote the famous book All Quiet on the Western Front.
Another gender ideology.
It wasn't. He's literally saying, oh, because they also hated other people, it had nothing to do with this. So he's doing the same thing that he got mad at other people for doing, a kind of picking and choosing the argument. Yes, the Nazis hated a lot of people, but that does not devalidate the fact that they hated that group and they are being compared to that.
Book. And then also Hassan would probably, I don't know if Hassan knows this or not, Hassan would be very upset to hear this. They also burned some of Karl Marx. They burned Lenin. They burned Trotsky.
Yes, they hated a lot of people.
They burned a lot of communist books as well. Yeah, not Marx. Yeah, they did. They got rid of them.
That they were all considered dangerous by the Nazis.
Yes.
Reading about Anne Frank, they discover that they are that little girl, and that what happened to that little girl was a supreme act of injustice. And
this is, I guess maybe we won't make the Houthi joke, but man, it's really hard not to, isn't it? It's really hard not to.
It's literally like talking to fucking Anne Frank.
His whole take has just been like, yes, but also this. Yes, they did this, but they also did this. So I'm not wrong, they said subversive and non-German or whatever the phrase they used, but they used subversive. I'm willing to bet the Nazis considered all of that subversive, including any LGBTQ stuff subversive. So originally he was right at the very least when he said it was about this, but in the original video he said it was about this and also had something to do with this. But now he's just doubling down and saying, see, it's not about that. It's not about that. It's just he's doing the same pick and choose the argument thing.
Okay, being able to talk to Anne Frank.
So they connect to her in a way that no political sermon or propaganda could effect. And for tyrants, control is the main thing. They don't like this unpredictability. They don't want the citizens to connect to the unknown parts of themselves, of their past, and to connect to the world.
So for a totalitarian...
That's, again, why people want to get me banned, too. It's because I talk about things in ways that people don't approve of, and so they want to destroy my platform and get me in trouble because they don't want me to be able to have a voice.
I mean, I do hate that, and that's one of the where places where I kind of sometimes agree with Asmon on stuff, is a lot of people, you'll see it kind of on both sides, when they have someone prominent that disagrees with them, they want to deplatform that person entirely, and I don't think that's effective, or because it's not going to work, one. And two, you're afraid of what they're saying. You should be countering what they're saying. You should be providing an argument to why they are wrong, which for most of this video, Asmon didn't do. He kind of did, but not in a way that I think was really well thought out. But a lot of the first half of this video was just him insulting people or saying, but see, they did too, but they did too, so it's okay, but they did too. But it's I do agree with him that, like, immediately being like, oh, ban, in relation to this, don't allow Nazis on the internet. Like, I think that's a thing. Or like, don't like overly platform them. Don't you know, if you are spewing hate speech, ban them from Twitch, ban them from YouTube. If you're spewing legitimate hate speech, but I also think this bit of, if anyone says something that I disagree with at all, which I'm pretty sure everyone has seen it, where you'll hear someone that, you know, a group of people disagree with, and now that group of people are like, and they're not making hate speech, they're not making calls to violence, they're not doing anything like that. It's just they're stating opinions that people disagree with, and then a bunch of people are like, you should ban them from everything, you shouldn't allow them online, you shouldn't do blah blah blah. I think that's ineffective. I think that's kind of wrong, because also that can go down a slippery slope of, okay, now once the tables have turned and a different group is in power, we've established a precedent that when that group is in power, we silence everyone that disagrees with them, and that's not okay. Don't silence people that disagree with you. Prove them wrong. But if it's hate speech, fuck them.
The only thing that they cannot,
if it's like legitimate hate speech, get rid of them. Fuck them.
Or prevent from physically leaving is your mind, is your imagination. That cannot be captured.
Which is why freedom of speech is so important.
Freedom of speech is very important.
I'm such a big advocate for it.
Freedom of speech is
because
very important.
I know that the people who try,
and there's one of the things too of, like, kind of counter to that, I guess, not really counter to that. What a lot of times people don't understand when they try to rant about something like, oh, they got banned on Twitter, they got banned on Twitch, they got banned on this, got banned on that, is, oh, freedom of speech. Freedom of speech applies to the government censoring you. The government censoring you. A private party is allowed to block you from whatever thing that they own and say, you can't do that here. If someone came onto my yard and tried to, you know, give a protest and I called the police to send them away, it's not a freedom of speech issue. It's on my property. If I owned a platform and I ban them, then yeah. The way we counter that is we make it financially infeasible for them to keep doing that. If a bunch of people suddenly have a problem with Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, whatever group banning people that disagree with them from the platform, stop using the platform so that they're not making money off of it, and all of a sudden they're going to change their mind. That's how you use that to control the commercial environment, the business environment, the private environment, the civilian environment, but the government is not allowed to censor you. It goes down to that too of if you're making calls to violence, yes, they can, because you can't shout fire in a movie theater.
To limit freedom of speech, and they try to put limits on it and stop people from saying certain things.
But there is that too when you get groups of people that are anti-fascist and they talk about how much they hate fascism, they hate that sort of the people that are domineering and using their power wrong, but then they're also proponents of silencing people that they disagree with. They are fascists. They're just fascists when it works for them. Don't be a hypocrite. If you don't want your voice silenced, don't silence other voices.
When you live with your mind in a cage, that's only the beginning. It's never where it stops.
By the way, I got my PC all set with a mic if you want guys want. Okay, definitely.
Should be kept alive, even if it's between 2 people or 3 people. Talk about it.
Fucking based. Absolutely fucking based.
Think about it, live about it, and hope about it.
Okay. And so anyway, basically a clip of me discussing the fact that the Nazi book burn.
But here's the thing, he proved himself right in the fact that it wasn't just about gender studies, and that it was possibly, because even what that video said was that it was subversive ideologies, which he further went into, also meant Marxist, leftist, possibly LGBTQIA, subversive ideologies, and non-German authors. So he might not even be right there, because who knows why they chose these books. Did they choose these books because it was not German authors, or did they choose these books because they were subversive? He doesn't know. We don't know. Only the people that did it know. But then he kind of doubled down on just picking and choosing the argument, because he was like, oh, see, they also got rid of Marxist stuff. They also got rid of this. So what you're saying is it wasn't because it was non-German. It was because it was opinions that they disagreed with. So you kind of proved yourself wrong. Like, Asmon proved himself wrong there, because he showed evidence that, like, it wasn't just about German. It was about anyone that they disagreed with.
Burnings were not exclusive to LGBT, but they were in fact for a lot of things.
Yeah,
that
they
were
weren't
anti-German
exclusive.
culture.
I don't think he said it was
and things
exclusive.
that were involved with people being Jewish, communism, etc. This is true, and my source for this is the Holocaust Museum.
But you interpreted what was said in a way that most fit you, which is exactly what you complained about earlier. Also, I don't think he said that was the only reason they burned books. I don't think that guy ever said the only reason they burned books was because gay. It was just a reason.
It's very sad, but one thing that I learned, that I keep learning over and over, is that when people can't win in the free marketplace of ideas, they have to resort to lies. The sad thing is none of them will acknowledge this and keep calling you a Nazi.
It's kind of what you're doing.
Well, the thing is that all of the people that have done that, they've already completely gone hollow. There's nothing that, like, I can do to bring them back from the psychosis that they've brought themselves into. But the best that I can do is to offer a measured and, to the best of my ability, educated perspective on why these things happen. What's being discussed here is how these topics and how these patterns are re-emerging in today's society. And I think that it's a very important
but he interpreted, like, now he's going on this philosophical rant to be, oh, I'm doing this from this perspective and blah blah blah, and just to be measured and research and whatnot. But he's still interpreting the research in the way that most suits him, and then kind of like skirting past the nuance of it.
Component to this, that this was done by primarily young people.
Yeah,
because it's really, in a lot of cases, the
Hitler Youth was radicalized.
The contemporary wisdom nowadays is that older people are more conservative and younger people are more liberal. But I think in cases of economic depression or national depression, sometimes the opposite can become.
I don't know how this has anything to do. I don't know how this has anything to do with him not wanting to do this anymore and the hate that he's receiving and blah blah blah.
True.
I feel like this is just him trying to. Either he want. I can't blame him for this, because it happens to me all the time when I watch like react stuff or start talking about stuff or go on a rant on stream where like I start the rant in one way and then I just go off on a completely different tangent and start talking about something else. So I can't really blame him for that. That's just a thing that happens. But I also feel like this is like, oh, see, I'm smart. See, I'm so smart. I understand things. But he's also choosing to interpret things in the way that best fits him.
An example of it. And this is what I've been talking about. This is what I was saying before about how, like, you know, Hitler was getting popular on TikTok, etc. So, like, you guys see how all this is fitting together? How all this is coming together?
I don't know what he's talking about there.
It's important to talk about this history is because in a lot of cases, I don't think history repeats itself, but it rhymes. And so when I see certain things happening nowadays, when I talk about the resurgence of these things happening, the reason why I talk about the resurgence of these things like this happening is because I see the precursors of it because of the precursors of it last time that it happened.
But that's exactly what that person was trying to say. Can't even remember which one it was that said it, was that this has happened before and we are worried that it is happening again, and he just laughed it away.
That's the reality. And so when I'm discussing a topic
but
like
that's okay for him and not for them
here, trying to broaden the perspective of it, I was actually saying that this isn't good, even if you don't like any trans stuff at all. In a lot of cases,
okay, if that's what he was trying to say, then okay, that's not how it came across at all.
Oppressive regimes will take a couple of things that are agreeable and then package them into tyranny and then hopefully sell that to the masses, and the masses buy it because of those couple of bad.
But then he also tried to frame later the LGBTQIA community as the oppressive regime. At least you can interpret it that way if you so choose, because he was basically saying they're trying to force people to coddle them and accept them and give them what they want, and that he doesn't think it's okay. So who is he considering the oppressive regime right now? Because some of the ways he said shit, he's considering the LGBTQIA and people like that the oppressive regime in this situation.
Bad things. I think that maybe even off stream, Hassan should actually spend some time. It's only 4 hours. And if you look at a lot of the comments here, Asmon is lenient on Hassan.
This video is titled "I Can't Do This Anymore," and it started with him talking about how he keeps getting hate for stuff that's happened over the last year. But almost everything he has said has been an attack against another person. He's barely countered anything. It's been on this one thing. He started with like, I've been getting so much hate for my opinions and stuff, but then he hyped in on this one thing and has resorted largely to just attacking the other person and not really defending.
There are a lot of people who are criticizing me because I didn't go hard enough on Hassan, and I actually tried to give him the benefit of the doubt the entire time, because I try to maintain consistency, I try to maintain a lack of bias, and I try to maintain a degree of decorum to make sure that when I'm talking about something that I do so in the most authentic and accurate way. Now,
I could see him saying he tries to maintain that, but I feel like based on the stuff I have seen from him, he does have a bias. He does often try to, depending on the topic he's talking about, trying to say, well, this is my thoughts on it, but I get this. Sometimes he doesn't. I don't necessarily think the decorum is there, because if you're just resorting to insults a lot, I mean, that's no different than like the yelling that you were so mad about.
Do mistakes happen? And yes, I did misspeak with saying it was in Jewish. That's very fair. But I think that that's not really the focus of what the conversation was about. And only the most dishonest person would focus on that instead of...
Only the most dishonest person would focus on the thing that's not what the conversation was about. But that's kind of what he's doing right now and what he did then. Because what the conversation was about, at least from what it seemed like, from what was shown, was them trying to say, that person, I can't remember which one of them it was, that person trying to say that we are now seeing the precursors to what happened back in 1933, what happened back then, and we are afraid that it is happening again, which is something that he said that he cares about, but now he is focusing on the wrong thing or the most dishonest way of going about this.
Of what the actual context was and the actual meaning behind it. With a lot of these people, if they're worried that they're unhappy that, you know, my content is doing well, etc., maybe they should think about why that is. And I think that one of the big reasons why that happens is because it's honest. And
his content does well because he appeals very strong. One, luck a little bit. Luck and work. You have to put in effort to be a content creator. Luck and work, but then he appeals to the, I guess, anti-woke people. And since he is a loud voice appealing to it, more people come to him. Or people come to him because they want to hear what he says and disagree with it. It's because he has... His content does well because he has very not middle-of-the-road takes. He has very hard takes that are seen as extreme by one side or the other.
And more important than it being honest,
and just like
is that it attempts
algorithm works for him.
He's
been doing this for a long time. He's been building up his audience.
Mistakes are made, mistakes will be made, and mistakes will continue to be made. I will win in the future. I will say somebody is speaking in Chinese when I actually mean Mandarin.
I mean, again, he's hype. He's really. It feels like he's doing that thing where you either pick one argument that someone made, you pick one argument that someone made that's against you, and that's the one you can prove is wrong, and then you only talk about that, and then you keep only talking about that, so that it seems like, see, I countered your argument, so I'm right. Since I countered your argument, that means I'm not wrong, so everything's copacetic. We're cool. Either that, or he's the interpret the thing that they said in the way that you can prove wrong, so that you can say, well, see, I disproved your argument. Like, no, there's been a lot more stuff than this, and you even then, your understanding of it, to me at least, the way I read it, my understanding of your understanding and the facts is not correct, because he really hyped in on just the part where they said non-German, not the part where they said subversive. And then he's really hyping in on his interpretation of what the point of this person is, of that we are seeing the precursors to what happened in 1933, and we're worried it's going to happen in the future. Not, and he's interpreting as, well, no, they're just wrong, because they're interpreting that part wrong, but not really looking at the point of what they're saying.
I will. But the essence behind what I'm saying, I will endeavor to do my best.
So he's like, he's really just like,
I'm not trying to spread propaganda.
He's trying to tear things down on like technicality, not truth, not intent. He's looking at the literal, not the intent. He's looking at he's being very pedantic. And when you have to be pedantic to prove that you're right, and you choose not to look at intent and choose not to look at the actual feeling behind something, you're not right.
I'm not,
or at least
trying
you can't
to spread lies. I'm trying to be fair, accurate,
you're interpreting things in a way that works for you.
And I think that's what a huge contingency of people are looking for in a sea of lies. You can't.
And now he's just kind of glazing himself. He's really. I don't care. He's just kind of glazing himself at this point. So that's that. Neat. Those videos will come out at some point this week when I trim out any of the fat. That's just him not saying anything. Pam. I'm going to go take a piss real quick. Okay, reheat up my food. I'm not eating it all. when my food finishes cooking, I'm gonna get Sea of Thieves started up. Okay, now I'm gonna move this back to where it normally is because it was throwing me off real hard. Bam. Sea of Thieves. Okay. Now I just have to wait for Sea of Thieves to actually fucking start up. There it goes. Bam. I'm gonna go grab my food. It's about to be done. Okay. Da, 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 da. Okay, how do I do that? I don't know how to... Hold on, did I get an email or something? If you want me to give more information, then don't, like, allow me to give that information in-game. I didn't get an... I didn't get a... How do I give you the information? Press some page down. How? How do I do that? Settings. Higher profile language, audio settings, graphic settings. No, I don't know how to do that. I don't know. High Seas, Selfra Guild. I'm gonna make my own sloop now that I have the money for it. Okay. High Seas. My ships. Purchase a ship. Sloop. Name ship. There you go. It's cool, man, because it's gonna be my ship when I'm playing solo, and I'm not really trying to harass anyone. Although, who knows if I decide to pick up an explosive barrel and fucking charge someone with it. Okay. Yes. What the fuck? Whoopsie daisies. I whoopsie daisied. There you go. How do I pledge it to a... Oh, okay. Now it's going to be adventure, high seas, sail for a guild, bam. Pledge a new ship. Choose the ship. It's cool, man. Bam. Guild crew. That's still way too hot. That's still way too hot. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. I don't even know what I'm going to do. Oh, we are. What am I going to do? I'm not going to fly an emissary flag if I'm playing solo. Do not want to get targeted. Supply shop. Wood. Cannons. Special cannons. Food. And you know what? I'm going to grab bait, too. Because apparently that will get me a lot. What? What? Fucking starving. I had oatmeal today, and that was it. Did I eat anything? I had oatmeal and a protein shake. I got like a really good workout in today. Okay. Fuck it. Ah!
Captain.
What?
I see you're ready for
Yes.
the next grand adventure.
Yes. What do you want? I hate this guy so much.
There. Another proud vessel ready to set sail across the Sea of Thieves. Good luck, Captain.
Fuck you. I do need to decorate my vessel, though. I need to decorate it. There it is. Ship customization. I don't have any unique ship customization for this thing. I don't want to just make it a copy of my other one. Okay, let's look at unique hull or cannons, I guess, first. That's one of the ones I'm saving up for. You know what? Let's go crab core. We're going to crab this one out. This is going to be all crab. And I'm going to change the name, if I can, to the It's All Crab Man. I think that's funny. Is there a horse one? I might end up making Des a horse-themed one just called the Bojack. I need to make more money. How do you change the name of ship? How do a ship Sea of Thieves? Is it going to cost a lot? Hold on. That's not where I go. I go to Pirate Emporium. Oh my god. Captaincy. Really? Real money? Because it's 500, so you want me to spend it's $6 basically to fucking change the name of my ship. Fuck you. Okay. Ship customization. Bam. I don't have anything for that. Didn't I just... I thought I... Oh, no, I bought a different flag. Nope. I don't have that yet. I do have this. crab. Bam. Let's go do some missions. I'm trying to grind out. I have to get 11 more levels in this season in order to unlock everything. And then if I unlock everything, I'll buy the season pass so I can get all the doubloons. But I'm not going to bother unlocking it. Or I'm not going to bother buying the season pass if I don't get to the level. I do kind of want that. And that. But the big thing is, I want doubloons. Okay. Bam. Voyages. Raid on a skeleton camp. Yep. What is that on the map? What is that on the map? Oh, that's a burning blade vessel. Lovely. I can't take that on right now, and even if I did successfully take it on, what am I going to do with it? I certainly cannot pilot it with. Do I still need to vote on the quest even though I selected it? Yep. No, I just have to vote to cancel it. Okay. I'd love to dive, guys. I am sailing to open seas. What the fuck? There it goes. Ugh. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? If my ship sunk and I lost the shit I purchased for that, I'm gonna be furious. Hey, what's up, Sven? How you doing? Yep. Lost my shit. You've been sick for a few days? That sucks. Being sick's never fun. I still have a little bit of residual from having like bronchitis or pneumonia or whatever the fuck, not pneumonia, the bronchitis, or whatever the fuck I had. It didn't even save my ship changes. Did it save what I purchased? Didn't change this. I didn't change that. I'll change that. Put the crab up. Now I need to rebuy all of this shit.
By, says I. Hello, you. The sea is blue.
Yes, it is. Thank you for that. No, I still got a little bit of residual from the bronchitis or whatever because it like just a little bit of cough and a little bit of phlegm being coughed up every once in a while.
Ring the bell to say farewell.
Why are you why are you being weird? We've already been through this. We have already been through this. We have already fucking been through this. Please stop.
There. Another proud vessel ready to set
Yep.
sail across the Sea of Thieves.
We already did this like 10 minutes ago.
Good luck, Captain.
You know what I might do? Since the people I play with generally don't... You know what I might do? Hold on. I'm gonna vote to cancel this voyage. I'm just gonna do Reaper shit. And not like really targeting boats, but like just doing that and raise my Reaper level a little bit. I'm not going to be like focusing on PvP since I'm, solo right now. But I'm gonna do the other missions that Reapers can do. Mix of like a flu and a cold. Yeah, probably just like an upper respiratory infection or something. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. It's that time of year though. It's the time of year when people be getting sick. Let's turn a little bit more right. A little bit more right. Where I'm at, the weather is always fucking insane. So we had, like a day or two ago, it was like 60, almost 70 degrees. Maybe it was 70. It was relatively warm by my standards. And then today it was like 30 degrees. And tomorrow we're going to be getting a fuck ton of snow. Because it was more aligned with like a flu at first, but now it's just runny nose, hack up, phlegm, cold. Ah, that sucks. But I mean, maybe it's just like an upper respiratory infection. I don't know how to tell you to treat that other than just kind of stay hydrated and wait it out. Little bit more turning here. There. Oh, it's right there, too. This will be easy to get to. think I see... Oh, no, that's a skull. Yeah, that's a skull. That's a... I don't think this Reaper Bounty... I don't think the Reaper Bounty announces itself with that. I think the Reaper Bounty is just fire swirls. Well, it's not as bad as it seems once was, so I'm just gliding through, although my 4-day weekends had... 4 days weekend I had for days off, I was sick at the entire time. Yeah, no, that sucks. When you, like, get sick, like, right before several days off. That's not fun. You guys are about to get hit with an ad break. I'm going to shut up for 3 minutes. Fuck. Wrong button. Well, it's not as bad as it seems once was. I'm just... Oh, no. Okay. It like, refreshed the thing, so I thought it was a new chat. But how you been other than that, Sven? Like, are you at least, you know, somewhat relaxing despite all the sick? Wait, what is that, then? Because that's a Fort of the Damned. Oh, that might not be a Reaper Bounty. Old school. Oh, okay, so no, that's right, that's right. I don't know, you didn't get one. Weird. I guess it depends on where you are, because I know, Repexer doesn't get ads because he's in Latvia, and they don't advertise to Latvia. I am going to indeed take left. Maybe that is the Fort of the Damned. Someone like just been laying around. I remember when I was younger, I always liked when I got like a sick day off of school. Because like I'd be sick, but I'd get to stay home and play video games and whatnot. And it was nice. I didn't have to deal with school. And the sickness never hit me as hard back then. Now it's like I'd rather have to do like an entire day or two of manual labor than get sick, because it's gonna stick around for like weeks, and I'm gonna be fucking miserable. Fuck! Well, shit. I really hope I don't crash into something. Yeah, hi. I forgot how much I love not being sick. I'll take the stress and workload any day over whatever this is. Yeah, no, like, you never appreciate how nice it is to breathe normally and to feel relatively okay until you're not breathing normally and feeling relatively okay. Shiza! What is this? I might come back there at some point and just check it out, because it's not on the map. It's just, like, right here, not on the map. Like, I'd just be one of those people that just seem to leave to die on the migration at the moment. What? I think that is, in fact, the Fort of the Damned. I don't like when the music changes. I get real paranoid when the music changes. Well, that's disconcerting. No, in all those movies where they go on the long journeys and at some point have to leave all the sick... Oh, okay, I gotcha. I was not getting what you were referencing at first. Okay, yeah, it's straight ahead. You're the sick wolf at the end of the pack that they just kind of abandon. Ugh. Be right on to the right. Is that it? That doesn't look like a fort. That looks like a fort. Raise sail. Oh. Raise sail fully. I should have done that sooner. This will work, though. This will be fine. Actually, kind of perfect. Sails fully raised. I don't know how easy it's going to be. I gotta love having a syringe to clean out my wisdom teeth hole. I hate everything you just said. I hate everything you just said. That was so upsetting. Why would you do that? Okay, bam. Double barrel. Okay. It was the worst thing I've ever heard. How dare you? What? Is this how I kill him? Because that's not doing it. Oh, first I need to grab food. Why am I stuck? I probably need to use that light. What free will does to a person? Fuck your free will. How dare you? Oh, I think this is one of the ones where I have to grab the correct color lantern to appropriately weaken the people I'm attacking. Or maybe it just is special lantern in general. Nope. That's not it. Don't know what's happening here. I'm gonna try to go to wherever that fucking chest is probably. Fuck. Fuck! Maybe it killed some? Meantime, how to fight Fortress of the Damned Skeletons. Use the colored flames to make them vulnerable by matching the color of their eyes to the flame you're holding. Okay. So I was right. Ugh. Why isn't it? How do I use the flame? What? Oh, they're statues? Okay. Okay, good, 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 good. Red. Yeah, fuck you guys. Not so fun, is it? Now you are the ones who will be dead. Again. You are fucking fast, and I don't like that. Fuck. I'm stuck. Eat. Woo! Yeah, vulnerable now, aren't you? Sucks, doesn't it? Fuck. Need more ammo. I need more ammo. There's an ammo crate. Son of a bitch. I might have to switch to a sword just so I don't have to keep reloading. I might be better with that. I might try to. I'm not going to set it up right now because I tend to fuck that up. So I might try to set it up in the moment. I do like me my explosive barrels, and there's no one right now that can tell me I'm not allowed to, so... So I have the right flame? I don't. I desperately need to take a piss. I'll be right back. Hopefully I don't. Okay, I'm back. I pissed. Everything's good. I've been making sure to hydrate really, really good. I finally got my radiology results back. Inconclusive. They have no idea what's wrong with me. But my blood results revealed that my blood sugar is very, very, very low, slightly low. Like by like 0.1. And my potassium is very, very, very slightly high by like 0.1. I didn't switch my weapon, didn't I? Fuck. Nope. Which is technically possibly indicative of, like, pre-diabetes or diabetes, but, like, being low on blood sugar and high on potassium, but also, like, the levels are so minusculely off. I doubt that that's what it is, and it was probably just a quirk of whatever I happened to be eating around the time that I did it. But I am trying to get my diet back on track, so at the very least my stomach pain will go away. I mean, that's not why I'm doing it. I'm doing it because I want to lose weight again, but, you know. Fuck. God damn it, go away. I did the thing! I weakened you! I did the thing I'm supposed to do. Fuck. Oh, hi. Well, this works for me. Or maybe it doesn't. You arrived and the first thing you hear is, I pissed? Yeah, that seems about right. That seems about right. That's definitely a running game entertainment moment. Hey, can you fucking not? There's the thing, I don't know what's wrong with me. I got really, really intense stomach pain last year in like June or July, to the point where like I went into the emergency room because I thought my appendix was bursting, and they couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. And then it started again in December, but not as bad. And I got a full CT scan because at the emergency room they did like a CT scan with IV contrast, but not with like oral contrast. So this time they did IV and oral contrast, and it's like, yeah, everything's normal. I have some lesions on my lungs, some very, very small lesions on my lungs, but the report said that it's likely just basically some leftovers from having like an upper respiratory infection or some irritation in my lungs at some point, and I'm just getting over bronchitis, so that makes sense. But like, they don't say anything is wrong. Even the blood work, yeah, technically blood sugar very slightly low and potassium very slightly high, which would be indicative of diabetes, but it's so very slightly that it's like probably not. So I need to schedule another follow-up to figure out what the fuck is wrong with me and why I keep getting intense gastrointestinal pain. Okay. Wide eyes. Woo! Hey, can you fuck off? What? Oh. They barreled me. They barreled me. I need to go get... I think I'm going to keep the gun because I got the movements right, so the gun's working. I was going to do the sword, but the sword leaves me open a lot more. Hey, can you fucking not? Fuck. Can you not? Can you not? God damn it. There, God, I wanted to kill the gunner. He's the biggest problem. Fuck, salamied. And they've gotten their invulnerability back. And I need more ammo. Where are you at? There you are. Hey, can you not? These are really annoyingly accurate sometimes. Food? Food. No, I have no idea. I don't super keep up on the news. It just makes me sad. Oh, hi. This is fun. I might explosive barrel myself just to take these guys out a little bit faster. Where's the fucking barrel? I could have sworn there was a barrel. Oh no, what happened, Venom? Whoop. Fuck. Not where I wanted to go. I got an idea. I got an idea that's gonna make this all easy peasy. Where the fuck is my ship? My ship gone? Did someone sink me? Nope. Yeah, get your asses over here. Are you serious? I think I just need to weaken them. Hold on. It ran out. What? But I'm locking in our raid chat in a second. Son of a bitch, there's still some left. Fuck. I'm using a lot of cannonballs on you fuckers. Is that the last of them? Oh, yep. Plane crash while landing. I'll turn hydrate on once this battle's over, because I'm not even gonna do it while the battle's going on anyway. So, did they literally not drop any skulls? Plane crash while landing. We do have the footage. Basically, plane kind of bounced back in the air, did a barrel roll, lost both wings while doing the barrel roll, and with the top of the plane on the ground. Oh, I actually did see that. I heard about that. Because I saw the pictures and I read about it a little bit. Everyone finds so lucky. Commercial plane, yeah. Delta, yeah. No, I saw some like pictures of that and a little bit of a news article about it. I didn't read too much into it because meh, but yeah, no, that's really, really fucking weird. It's going to make it a lot harder to convince people to fly. Like Dez is terrified of the concept of flying. Can you just die, please? I have more people to kill. Fuck. You're leaving already, Repexer? Why? Okay, got his ass. Do I need to do anything special to kill this guy? No. Do. MCB stream tomorrow. I'll be like, okay, that's fair. Today's one of my off days, anyways. And that's why I have crash investigation. Yep, got to figure out whose fucking fault it is. For the lawsuit's purposes, at the very least. And to make sure it doesn't happen again, but, you know. Lawsuit. Fuck! Oh, there's a fancy little boat. Whoop. Whoop. Okay, so the captain's not going to take any damage from any of this. But at least if I can get rid of his ads. Okay, it's time to damage him again, weaken him again. How many times am I gonna have to fucking kill this, or weaken this guy before he's killable, before he dies? I'm on. Hey, I'm gonna need you to be staying still, please. Fuck! Come on. There you go. How many fucking cannons are gonna need to hit this guy? Did I get him? I did. I was about Crash Machine learning what went wrong, and then my mind goes, what if it was aliens? I mean, you should always at least a little bit wonder, what if it was aliens? It always could be. There's the thing they don't tell you. Okay. Where is the... There it is. Oh, this is the first time I've ever done Fort of the Damned, apparently. God damn it, there's so much shit to loot. Someone's here. Someone's here and they want my shit. Someone's here and they chose to wait to the very moment I finished doing everything to attack me. Because they are a piece of shit. I'm doing fine. Fucking pissed off. They didn't seem to sink me, though. They just attacked me and set me on fire. Are you such fucking cowards that you wait until I'm done to attack me because you don't have the fucking skill to do it yourself? Grow a pair and then become a fucking adult. Okay, well, that's just going to be my fate for anything I try to do today. So I cleared the fort by myself, immediately got attacked,